guys, my name is Hai.
And my name is
We
Nam.
come from Mountain High School in Lasan District and I'm Budapest. Today, we're gonna talk about an issue of the most culture over the past few days, racism. And now, let's get started.
Fighting racism has been a hard issue for a long time, but in the past week, this problem has been hot again. In the US, there have been a series of protests and riots on the issue of racism to against the supremacy of the whites.
There have been many sad stories about racism. Recently, public opinion and the online community have been buzzing about the fact that a Vietnamese American man has stopped a Westerner election on racist action. On the 263 United flight from New Orleans to LA, he was complained by a foreign passenger sitting behind him about having a beating menaces, an Asian cultural custom, with a stigmatizing saying, "Stupid Asian culture." Anger was still retaining his composure. He used legitimate civil right to give the foreign guest a memorable lecture.
Do you still remember the 1968 Summer Olympics was remembered all over the world by one of the shocking events of the sport village then, the rating of Black Power. On the morning of October 16, 1968, at the men's 200-meter track and field event, African-American athlete Tommy Smith set a new world record with a record of the 19.68 seconds. Later, he was an Australian athlete Peter Norman and his compatriot John Carlos. Stepping up to the podium to receive the award, all three athletes were wearing jackets bearing the Olympic Project's Human Rights Project (OPHR), especially Tommy and John, both without shoes, wearing black gloves, black shorts, black scarves, symbolizing their skin color. For impoverished blacks, oppressed workers, exploited and killed, while the American national anthem rang out to congratulate champion Tommy. Both of the athletes raised their fists into the sky until the end of the song. Upon leaving the podiums, both Tommy and John were booed by the audience and crowd. At that time, Tommy said, "If I win, people will say I'm American, but if today I lose, they will say I'm African American. We are black and take pride in our skin color. African American will understand what we have done tonight."
Tommy and Joe's action later shocked the world. At the time, they were excluded from the Olympics for being criticized by many, even family and relatives talented to him. The fate of these two characters then gradually fall into oblivion over time. So, what is racism and how did you deal with it?
Racism is often defined as a belief or doctrine that the inherent biological difference between races of mankind determine the personal development achievement, with the consequence that his race, they are more trusted and have the right to rule other races. Racism has been used to justify discrimination and suicide. Racism often has big consequences like discrimination, including genocide. There are many ways we can avoid or fight racism, but to our mind, these are the simplest and the most easily understood.
The first, understand that you are not overreacting. Similar to harassment, chosen and often unintentional racist act, not as small attack, may not seem like a big deal to others, but if this behavior is structural, you must be prevented. Studies show that black people suffer than racial loss, but the people who commit such acts almost deny they have done wrong or that their actions bring down from religion is rape. This can make black people feel like they are imagining things or worried that when they speak up, the thing they happen to will be united and demon unfounded.
The second, give up. When you are subject to minor aggression or some form of racial hatred more clearly, put your needs first. You can choose to live. You have no obligation to try to understand and contact such a person. As a victim of racism, you are under no obligation to correct the person who attacked you. Engaging in conversation about racism will only make you tired and sad, not to mention it really hard work, why you may just live. But if you want to try to understand and contact the person who is afraid, you can also choose the option.
Thus, order is in universal manner. Instead of accusing someone of being racist, posing a little rough self-defense, point out exactly why his or her behavior would matter. For example, instead of saying you is that other, say that an orphan agent. By using that phrase, instead of him, you divert focus from the attacker to the word.
The fourth, straightforward with friends. You will never apply to yourself or fight racism just to avoid friction with your friends. It is always wrong to be racist and you have the right to speak up. If you think someone is behaving in a racist manner, point out why that behavior is problematic. You can choose the approach. Understand that people tend to fluff their defense when criticized, so the more skillful you are, the easier they will be able to absorb your comments.
There are many ways to respond to gift, and you need to choose how you respond to personality, as well as your relationship with the person at fault. You can reach out by saying, you know, I'm heard when people say I do that because. Talking about your feeling will make people less rougher sounding friends than straight. Criticizing what they did, what but this approach also makes them feel less responsible for their behavior, which is in the long run not the right strategy. A more direct approach is to say, you shouldn't say that or do that. It offends people of this rate because that approach lets people know that their behavior is hurting and they should stop.
Finally, know your rights. If you suffer racial discrimination at work or in public, you may have certain legal rights. In the United States, state and federal law oppose racism, notably the Civil Rights of the 1964. In the United States, you can contact a lawyer specializing in civil rights or workplace rights if racism has deprived your home, your work, your safety, or any other your freedoms. Most states have very strict reports of discrimination, so make sure you contact an attorney immediately. If you want to sue, but you can pay for a lawyer, don't worry. There are many human rights organizations that can help you. In the United States, consider contacting the South American Poor Law Research Center or the Defamation Prevention Committee.
Racism increasingly brings pain.
Even though dealing with the racist behavior is admirable, but it can also be very dangerous for you. So be smart and handle clever situations for an earth of peace and equality.
We have finished our presentation.
See you in the next presentation. We will continue to talk about this topic.
Goodbye.
And see you soon.